the kind of drought that is coming on us, it will not end with the rainfall. And please note, the nearest rains are 6 months away. If the situation is so bad in November, December and January, what will people do by March, April? I have no idea. There is no national or rational thinking about it. I will specifically focus on this because water is one of those sectors where India's inequality stands naked. In Maharashtra, which claims to have the greatest drought since 1972, all over Mumbai, Pune, huge building complexes are coming up, 30 floors, 40 floors, with a swimming pool on every floor. There is one complex in Borivali, Aquaria Grande in Mumbai, which has twin towers of 37 floors and one builder's penthouse on the 75th flat. So there are totally 37 plus 1, 75 floors, and there is a swimming pool on every floor. What is interesting is, who is building this swimming pool? I have interviewed the workers, construction workers who are building the swimming pool. By the way, some of them are from Telangana, many of them are from Marathwada. So I asked them, who are you? They said, sir, we are farmers, we are agricultural laborers. Why are you not in the village? Why are you not doing farming and labor in the village? Where is the water, sir? There is no water in the village. They have left agriculture in the village because there is no water and come to the cities to build our swimming pools. It is just outrageous. Yeah? Their livelihoods have been destroyed because of the lack of water. Their occupation and agriculture has been destroyed because of lack of water. But there is no lack of water for the swimming pools in the city. Water is also having we are witnessing, don't think that drought is the cause of this water problem. Drought is an aggravation. The inequality in use and distribution of water is the serious, it's much more serious than a drought. It is a mega water crisis which is now about to meet a mega drought. In this country, we do not even use the words climate change, let alone having a serious discussion of it. The Indian Meteorological Department does not use the words climate change. It speaks of extreme weather episodes. So, there have been major transfers of water taking place, at least 5 major transfers of water that are taking place, which have nothing to do with drought. And yet, the drought will aggravate all of them. One, there is a serious transfer of water from agriculture to industry, often to illegal industry. And you can see in your own areas elsewhere how many legal and illegal bottled water plants there are. Do you know how much poor people pay for water and how much the company that makes bottled water pays for the water? In Marathwada, in the Aurangabad circle, the poor woman pays, at the start of summer, she is paying 45 paisa per liter of water. Actually, her cost is greater because she pays 45 paisa, but she stands 6 hours in the queue. So there is an opportunity cost. There is a cost of what income she has lost by standing 6 hours in the queue. By the peak of the water scarcity, she will be paying 1 rupee per liter. She will pay 1 rupee per liter, and she will go from tanker to tanker, from public tap to public tap to collect water. That's when you see all those queues of buckets. However, it gets worse. She is paying 1 rupee per litre in the height of summer for the water. But in the same Aurangabad, in the same Marathwada, 24 beer and alcohol factories are paying 4 paisa per litre. The poor woman is paying 25 times more than 24 alcohol factories, which are paying 4 paisa per litre and receiving between 3 and 5 million litres per day. Now, even this 4 paisa is a huge improvement. For 30 years, they paid 1 paisa per litre. They paid 1 paisa per litre, and in the month, then somebody took them to court. One NGO took them to court and won a huge victory because the court made it 4 paisa. 4 times as much. 4 paisa they paid per litre. Now they put that 4 paisa of water into the Bisleri bottle and charge you 20 rupees for it. The only cost they have incurred is the plastic, which is a damage to the environment. You are paying 20 rupees per litre of the bottled water. The corporate that bottles the water paid 4 paisa. There are many little companies owned by MLAs and MPs and others that don't pay anything. They just loot the water. They just get away without the municipal board chairman in some towns I have seen. They just loot the water, free. They put it in plastic bottles and charge you 20 rupees. All these kinds of water. So I said, one is the transfer from agriculture to industry. Another major transfer of water, that is again based on inequality. The power of industry and the power of the economy. Then there is a transfer of water from food crop to cash crop. Again, the cash crop farmers are dominated by very large farmers, by much richer farmers. Like say the difference between sugarcane farmer and the cotton farmer, or sugarcane farmer and the bajra farmer growing bajra or jowari. In Marathwada, which is a perpetually drought-affected area, perpetually drought-prone area, the bulk of the water goes to 4% of the farmers who grow sugarcane. In Maharashtra as a whole, 68% of irrigation water goes to 2% of farmers who grow sugarcane. 68% of total irrigation water in Maharashtra goes to 2%. Now, how much water does an acre of sugarcane in Maharashtra? I am not saying that you should not grow sugarcane. You should grow sugarcane where you have the water for it. Sugarcane has to be grown where there are perennial rivers. Where there are perennial rivers, you can grow sugarcane. West UP, you can grow sugarcane. Gajali plain, you can grow sugarcane. Not in Maharashtra and Marathwada. The soil classification of Maharashtra is 93% hard rock. So at this moment as we talk, another transfer is taking place. The two fastest growing industries of Maharashtra are seasonal. They come into existence in November, and from November to June they make phenomenal profits. One is called borewell industry and the other is the tanker industry. And this is the same in many other states, including Andhra Pradesh, including Telangana elsewhere. But it is a very large industry in Maharashtra. The borewell industry. By April, May, you will find every village in Marathwada, in Vidarbha, in Western Maharashtra, will be attempting at least to sink 3 bores per village per day. The total value of the industry is billions of dollars, billions of rupees. And those billions of rupees, most of the people owning these borewell and tankers industries are people's representatives, many of them. They are MLAs, ministers, ex-ministers, ex-MLAs. That is another transfer of water. There you have the transfer of water from rural to urban. Which is, RBIs have shown us that, say, in the state where I live, Maharashtra, and this is not different in many other states, it's not dramatically different. Urban areas get 400% more drinking water than villages. Are people living in the villages less thirsty than we are? Do they do less physical labor than we do? Do they require less rehydration than we do? The cities are getting 400% more water. Then there is a transfer of water from poor to rich within the cities. As the multi-story buildings are coming up, they are sucking out the water from the nearby poorer colonies. So there is a forcible transfer of water. In any one of the major metros, you will find one corner of the city gets 40 liters per day per person. The main areas of the city will get 400 to 750 liters per day per person. There is also the transfer from livelihoods to lifestyle, from an agricultural laborer and farmer to the swimming pools of the cities. So there are these major water transfers taking place that are based on class, not based on the monsoon. They are based on class. Understand, this is a class issue. It's an issue of exploitation. It's an issue of inequality. In the last 30 years that we have followed what was once called the new economic policies, but is now more than a quarter of a century old. I will make 2 or 3 arguments. One, that we have been in violation of the spirit of the Constitution every day since 1991. Because the entire range of neoliberal economic policies introduced from June 1991 are anti-constitutional in my understanding. As the previous speaker pointed out, Part-4 of your Constitution begins, even before it lists the directive principles. That first paragraph says about mitigating and fighting inequality, and that the economic resources and materials of the state shall not be operated to the benefit of a few. Every single major economic policy since 1991 has militated against these principles. It is built, the difference between inequality after 1991 and inequality before 1991. There was inequality for hundreds of years. That's a fact. But after the adoption of the Constitution and after the adoption of the 5-year plans, up to 1980s, there is a decline in income inequality in India. There is a decline. From the late 80s and from 1991, the inequality goes upwards. It reverses, it goes upwards, and it simply goes through the roof. Let me give you one example. In 1991, there was not a single dollar billionaire in this country. No Arabpatis in dollars, there were croropatis. But there were no dollar billionaires in your country in 1991. In year 2000, Forbes magazine, which is the oracle of the capitalist world, it's the magazine of the billionaires. Forbes magazine every year publishes in March a list of global billionaires. In 1991, you had 0 billionaires. Then Forbes started publishing its list. In 2000, you had $8 billionaires. In 2012, you had $53 billionaires. In 2018, you had $121 billionaires on the Forbes list. $121 billionaires, and India ranked 4th in the world in the number of dollar billionaires in 2018 after China, USA and Germany. India ranked number 4. Now these $121 billionaires, their wealth, according to Forbes, their wealth is equal to $442 billion, which in 2018 March was equal to 22% of GDP. Almost more than 1/5 of your gross domestic product was in the hands of 121 individuals. What is your population? 130 crores. And in 130 crores of human beings, 121 individuals control 22% of GDP. In those 121 individuals, in that 22%, 10% of 10 percentage points out of the 22% is controlled by Mukesh Ambani, one individual. Also, the rate of growth of his wealth has no equal, no rival, not even in the United States or any other country of the world. In 2017, Mr. Ambani went from $23 billion of wealth. In 12 months, he went to $40 billion of wealth. It means in 12 months, Mr. Ambani added $16.9 billion. How much is $16.9 billion? 1,05,000 crores. 1,05,000 crores he added in 12 months. Imagine how hard he must have worked to earn that much. Is it possible, as capitalism promises, that everybody has equal choice and opportunity? Can an ordinary Indian earn 1,05,000 crores? Well, it's possible. Suppose you are a laborer on the NREGS, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme. The national average for that wage was 161 rupees in that time. Because on the one hand you have Kerala and Punjab, 280 rupees per day. On the other hand you have Chhattisgarh and Odisha where it is 105, 120. On an average national wage of NREGS, that laborer on the NREGS can also earn 1,05,000 crores. But it will take him 1,87,000 years to do so. Or it will require 18.7 million laborers to earn that amount in 1 year without Saturday, Sunday, holiday, nothing. 18.7 million, 1.87 crore laborers to earn that amount. That kind of inequality, believe me, no society in the world can sustain that kind of inequality. It is a crime against humanity. It's a crime against your own people. You cannot sustain this inequality. Now, what do people in rural India earn? What does a farmer earn? Your laborer, the best he can earn, if he is on NREGS in Kerala, government guaranteed program, 280, 300 rupees together. Or she. If they are in Odisha, 121 rupees or 125 rupees. What can a farmer, what do rural Indians earn? In 2012, we had the socio-economic caste census. And till now they have not published the caste data, but they published the economic data. The socio-economic caste census showed us there are 179 million rural households according to 2011 census. Out of these 179 million households, 75% of all these households, the main breadwinner takes home less than 5,000 rupees a month. That Mr. Ambani was probably earning 5,000 rupees per minute or second. You calculate $16.9 billion. But the main breadwinner in 75% of rural households in India takes home less than 5%. That is the government figure in the socio-economic caste census. If you raise the amount to 10,000, 90% of rural households, the main breadwinner takes home less than 10,000 rupees. How many rural households have main breadwinners who take home more than 10,000 rupees? 8%. 8%. Now, 8% is the national general population average. If you segregate Dalits and Adivasis, it falls to 4% of households. Now, who are the Dalits and Adivasis in the countryside? Who are that 4%? Most of them are government servants, public servants. They work in the railway as railway workers, as sanitation workers, as PWD workers, menial jobs in the banks and in the collectorate offices. And those are the jobs that we are shutting down every year, every month. Fewer and fewer families from those backgrounds will have breadwinners with more than 10,000 rupees. This is the sheer massive. So you see, whether it is in water or in income or in wealth, the Credit Suisse, the multinational bank, the Credit Suisse bank, shows us that in the last 3 years, the total household wealth of the bottom 30% has turned negative. The bottom 10% its wealth holding is minus 0.7%. That means it is sinking in debt. Whereas the top 1% of Indian society controls 58% of total household wealth. Even in the United States, the top percent controls 42% of total household wealth. In India, the top 1% controls. And in India, within that top 1%, it is the top 0.1% really. Though they haven't given that data. So you have this astonishing one in resources, life-giving resource of water, you have incredible inequalities. Income, you have incredible inequalities. This reflects in your politics, and in the rise of the political class. In 2004, we introduced the election affidavit. Every candidate had to declare his worth. Now, this is a very wonderful affidavit. It is based on your self-valuation. You are not required to attach an income tax return. You are not There is no penalty if it is found that you have lied. But even then, in 2004, the affidavits analyzed by the Association for Democratic Reforms, which is the major electoral watchdog in this country, showed that 32% of all Lok Sabha MPs, 543 MPs, 32% of all Lok Sabha MPs were crororepatis. Rupees, in rupees. In the 2009 affidavits, 2009 election, instead of 32% of crororepatis, 52% of all members of parliament were crororepatis. In 2014 election, winning candidates, 82% of all MPs in the Lok Sabha were self-declared crororepatis. In 5 years, you went from 53% to 82%. You are getting a rate of growth not seen in any economy, not seen in any stock exchange. And some MPs have experienced a growth of income in 5 years, growth of wealth and assets of up to 7,000%. So it reflects in your parliament the kind of inequality that has come. Now this 82% crororepatis, they are supposed to represent the poorest people on earth. How will they represent? With what sincerity can they represent them? Now we've come to this new government has now come to this new 10% for economically weaker sections. Essentially an action that undermines caste-based reservations. Because the kind of cutoff they have put, 90% of the population is eligible. 90% of the population will be eligible for this 10%. It then completely undermines and makes meaningless what the reservations for the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes are. It completely dwarfs those reservations, and also the whole business of reservations of any kind is also undermined by 20-30 years of new economic policies where you have reduced every year the number of jobs in government. What are you going to reserve? Where are the jobs to reserve? Where are the jobs? According to Center for Monitoring Indian Economy, in 2017, in 1 year, you lost 1.1 crore jobs in this country. Thanks to demonetization, GST, whatever else you want to name. But that has been a systematic pattern. As public sector does not fill vacancies, you're using more and more automation. That inequality, your agrarian crisis is the outcome of inequality. The terms of trade between farmers and the corporate classes are your crisis. The agrarian crisis in 5 words is corporate hijack of Indian agriculture. Today, everything in agriculture except ownership of land and hard labor, except that everything is controlled by corporations. Who controls seed? Once upon a time, the farmer got her own seed. The cotton farmer took the seed from the cotton. In those of you who don't know, 1 pound of cotton, 65% of the weight of 1 pound of cotton is the weight of the seed. So farmers used to get them, but then we started using hybrid seed. We started using BT seed. That seed you cannot renew. You have to buy each time. The old seed will not work for a second harvest, for a second sowing. It has no life. It is calculated to be dead after one use. So each time you return to the market, and the cost of seed in cotton went up several 100%. The cost of, now who controls pesticide? Corporations. Who controls fertilizer corporations? The fertilizer subsidy was not a subsidy given to this farmer for 40 years. It was given to the fertilizer producer. It was a producer subsidy to the Ambanis, Tatas, Birlas and others. Now each of these products, once you came into the so-called new economic era, the cost went up by several 100%. Every farmer in this country knows the word DAP. He or she may not know what DAP means, but they know DAP, di-ammonia phosphate, which they use on the field. One bag of DAP in 1991, one bag of DAP cost 157 rupees. Today it costs 1,450 rupees. How many times higher is that? The cost of cultivation has gone up 300%, 500%, 700%. And Mr. Modi speaks of doubling the income of the farmer. It means nothing. When the cost of cultivation has gone up 5 times, 10 times, how does it matter if your income doubles? It doesn't. And in fact, after 5 years of Mr. Modi, actual earning, real income of the farmer has declined. It has not doubled. Even if it doubles, it doesn't matter because cost of cultivation has trebled and quadrupled and quintupled. So how does it matter? The entire agrarian, that is one. Now everybody, now I want to bring in this point. The media have celebrated this inequality. They have celebrated the inequality. You'll see in March, when the new Forbes list comes, that will be a front page item. How many rich Indians are leading the world? The difference between pre-91 inequality and now is that inequality after 1991 is cynically constructed, ruthlessly engineered. The people who are introducing these policies know that it will create inequality. Before 91, you had various bad governments, but they had at least a stated objective of reducing inequality. And in the first 4 decades or 5 decades of independence, inequality did decrease in income terms. So now you are living in the era of consciously constructed inequality, and inequality that the media celebrates every day. In how wonderful this man is, this entrepreneur became a billionaire overnight. Now, by the way, how did Mr. Ambani earn 1,05,000 crores in 1 year? Because of his merit. Because government of India made some changes in policy that favored Jio over all his other rivals who are facing bankruptcy and merging. Vodafone, Docomo, Idea, Airtel are all trying to merge in order to survive against the policies favoring Jio. This was consciously done for the first time in history. When Jio was launched, I saw the face of a Prime Minister of India selling products on the front page of the newspapers. His face was there in Jio. By the way, there is a violation of law. There is a national law of emblems and symbols. There is a national law of emblems and symbols which says that you cannot use the image of the President, Prime Minister, Speaker, Governors, Chief Ministers on selling products or anything else without their permission. So I have to understand that Mr. Ambani had the permission of Mr. Modi because no action was taken against this. When the Prime Minister of your country is peddling the products of a corporate, it tells me that India is rapidly consolidating as a corporate state. That is what it tells me. That the Prime Minister is a salesman for the corporate world. That is where you are. Those levels of inequality. huge corporate capture of agriculture is your agrarian crisis. It's based, now everybody in the media talks about loan waiver, moral hazards of loan waiver. Why did this crisis come? Why did that loan? Let me tell you, specifically in the area of credit. 20 years ago, did any of you hear in 1998, did any of you hear a farmer asking for a loan waiver? Go back and see the newspapers, go back and see the television footage. There was no demand for a loan waiver in 97, 98. Historically, there have been only 2 loan waivers in this country at a national level. One was Chaudhary Devilal when he was Deputy Prime Minister. He did a write-off of 10,000 rupees for all farmers. 10,000. In the 2008 UPA loan waiver, that was the second. Do you know that there were more loan waivers under the British Raj than there are under independent India? Third, corporate loan waiver happens every year. Every year in the budget, statement of revenue 4-1, which they have now renamed. They have renamed it because actually statement of revenue 4-1 is such an honest title. It says we are foregoing this amount. Last, in 2014, annual average of write-offs in the budget, central budget alone, 5,34,000 crores, which was 6,000 crores more than the budget deficit. What were those write-offs? 73,000 crores direct corporate income tax waiver, 2,49,000 crores excise duty waiver, 2,00,000 crores, 2,25,000 crores customs duty waivers. What were the customs duty waiver items? Biggest item on the customs duty waiver, 73,000 crores, gold, diamonds and jewelry, all Aam Aadmi items. On medical goods and medical goods and import, customs duty waiver went to medical equipment imported by the corporate hospitals, which are never going to be used for poor people. But the duty waiver was done in the name of that. No poor person is going to, except the cleaner, the janitor, the toilet cleaner and the gardener. They are not going to be sitting in the in the Apollo hospital or Malar hospital for treatment. But they get concessions, they got land concessions. Land concessions at throwaway rates in the name of keeping 1/3 of the beds for the poor. The Delhi High Court has 4 times pulled up Apollo in Delhi for not even honoring 5% of that. Okay. So this incredible, studied, cynical, constructed inequality and transfer of wealth to the super rich happened in that situation.